I'm not surprised if life is beating your ass if you're living on accident. I would actually be surprised if you were thriving. I mean, think about it. You go to bed whenever, wake up whenever, eat whatever, spend whatever. You scroll until you get tired. You start your day with absolutely no plan, no real goals in place, no structure, no standards. You're basically waking up every morning and saying, let's see what happens. And then you're surprised when you see what actually happens. That's crazy because you're expecting an intentional life to be produced by unintentional behavior. What you gotta understand is you have a purpose. Purpose is not the problem. Everybody loves talking about purpose. What's my purpose? What am I here to do? What am I supposed to be doing? What was I put here for? But I think we're asking the wrong question because you can have purpose and still not be living on purpose. You gotta understand, those are two very different things. You can know exactly what you want your life to become and still have daily habits that are completely incompatible with that life. You say you want to build a business, but you don't know what time you're waking up tomorrow morning. You say you want financial freedom, but you don't know where your money went last month. You say you want a better body, but every meal is a game time decision. You say that your family is your priority, but your phone gets more attention than they do. You say you want peace, but you've designed a life that produces chaos. That's not a purpose problem. You gotta understand that. That's an alignment problem. Your intentions and your behaviors are telling two completely different stories. This is where people get uncomfortable and find something else to watch. See you later. Wasn't talking to you anyway. But the people who stick around, this is what you got to understand. Because sometimes we call something life that is really just predictable consequence of the patterns you've been running. You stayed up till 2 a.m, so you're exhausted at 7. You're exhausted, so you skip the workout. You skip the workout, grab whatever is convenient to eat, and promise you'll do better tomorrow. Because you didn't plan your day, everything feels urgent. Because everything feels urgent, you spend the entire day reacting. Now you're stressed, you're behind, you don't feel accomplished. So what do you do that night? You scroll, you distract yourself, you stay up late again, and tomorrow we run the same program. Now, if you do that for a day, it's just a bad day. If you do it for a week, it's a rough week. But if you do it for a year, you start calling it your personality. And then you start to say things like, I'm just a procrastinator. No, you've rehearsed procrastination. I'm just not disciplined. No, you've rehearsed living without structure. I can never get my life together. Maybe because you've spent years practicing a version of you whose life isn't together. And eventually, your patterns become so familiar that you start mistaking them for your identity. This is why identity matters. This is the part that most people miss. Your identity isn't just about what you believe about yourself. Your identity determines what feels normal to you. And this is huge because people will almost always return to what feels normal. If chaos feels normal, you will recreate chaos. If being late feels normal, you'll keep finding yourself rushing. If being broke feels normal, extra money finds a way to disappear. If procrastination feels normal, you'll wait until the pressure becomes so unbearable that you have no choice but to move and then move. And you'll keep trying to change the result without changing the identity that's producing it. That's why at Identity 2.0, our motto is mechanics over mysticism. You don't need another affirmation telling yourself you're successful. Look at the mechanics. What time does this version of you wake up? What does this version of you tolerate? What does this version of you eat? How does this version of you manage money? How does this version of you handle discomfort? What does this version of you do when nobody is watching? Because your life isn't being built by the version of you on your vision board. It's being built by the version of you who keeps showing up every day. This is where purpose becomes practical. Purpose should create standards. Standards create structure. Structure creates repetition, and repetition creates results. Purpose, standards, structure, repetition, results. If I know where I'm going, certain things can't remain optional anymore. That's what people don't want to hear. Purpose isn't just inspirational, purpose is restrictive. Purpose means saying no. Purpose means some behaviors don't fit anymore. Purpose means sometimes you go to bed when you don't feel like going to bed. You get up when you don't feel like getting up. You work when you don't feel inspired. You turn something down because it doesn't fit the direction you've chosen. Because once you choose a destination, you automatically eliminate certain roads. That's what direction does. You don't find purpose, you organize around purpose. People are waiting on this magical moment. Coach Jay, when I discover my purpose, everything is going to click. No, you might already know enough about your purpose to start changing your life. The question is, have you organized your life around it? Because your purpose isn't proven by what you say you're called to do. Your purpose is proven by what your life is organized to produce. Look at your calendar. Look at your bank statement. Look at your screen time. Look at your eating habits. Look at your sleep. Look at what gets the first hour of your day. Look at what gets the last hour. Those things will tell me more about your priorities than anything you can tell me. Because everybody has intentions, but your systems expose what you're actually committed to. Now, here's where I don't want you to get stupid with this. Don't watch this video and decide tomorrow I'm waking up at 4 a.m. working out twice, reading 100 pages, drinking a gallon of water, starting a business, and never eating sugar again. I would be surprised if you made it until Thursday. Instead, start asking, what would living on purpose look like tomorrow? Not next year, but tomorrow. What time are you going to bed tonight? What time are you waking up? What's the most important thing that needs to get done? What are you eating? When are you working? When are you resting? What are you saying no to? That's living intentionally. You don't need every minute scheduled. I'm not telling you to become a robot. I'm telling you to stop making every important decision based on how you feel in the moment. Because the version of you that's making decisions in the moment is often optimizing for comfort. The version of you thinking about your future is optimizing for purpose. Those two versions of you are going to disagree sometimes, but your identity determines which one wins. Your next level needs a different normal if you want a different life. Eventually, you have to create a different normal. Discipline has to become normal. Planning has to become normal. Keeping promises to yourself has to become normal. Doing the uncomfortable thing has to become normal. Finishing what you start has to become normal. And when those things become normal, you don't need nearly as much motivation. That's the goal. I'm not trying to get you hyped enough to change your life. I'm trying to help you become the kind of version for whom that behavior that changes your life is normal. So no, it doesn't surprise me if life is beating your ass and you're living on accident. I'm not surprised you're overwhelmed if everything is reactive. I'm not surprised you feel lost if you haven't chosen a direction. I'm not surprised you're inconsistent if every decision requires you to be motivated first. What would surprise me is if you lived like that for years and somehow accidentally built the life you actually wanted, because thriving by accident would be the anomaly. You have a purpose, I believe that. But if you want to actually benefit from that purpose, you have to start living on purpose. Stop waking up and asking yourself, what do I feel like doing today? Start asking, what does the life I'm building require from me today? That's a completely different question. And if you ask it long enough, your days change, your standards change, your habits change, your identity changes, and eventually your life has no choice but to follow.